Hey rock fans, welcome back to the channel. What you see over there is basically Mexico. Just beyond Falcon Lake, that's right, that's Mexico. I decided to come down here because a big cold spell just whipped its way across the US. Made it really cold up in the Austin area, so I drove as far south as I could, and I thought, since I'm down here, let's look for some rocks. Yes, that's right. It got cold up in Austin, so I decided to head south and get as close to the Mexican border as I can. And of course, while I'm down here, what else am I going to do but look for some cool rocks? It's been a little windy and chilly, so I haven't been filming. What I'll do at the end of this video, which will be in just a few moments, I'll show you all the really cool agates and rocks that I found. I'm hunting on this old gravel bar up here, well above the lake level. I don't know when the water was this high. Could have been a long time ago. In this gravel, there are lots of really interesting rocks, especially if you're into rock tumbling. I'm finding lots of small agate rocks like, well, this one I think. Lots of them have banding. I see some good color. And I imagine when I get back and go through these, I'll find a bunch of smaller ones that I'm going to turn into a rock tumbling video of just the rocks that I found along the shoreline of Falcon Lake. So keep an eye out for that video. Since the wind has died down and it's warmed up a little bit, I thought I would show you exactly what I'm able to find out here. Check this out. I was just walking back towards my truck and I saw this one. And then right over here, I saw that one. Those are the kinds of these banded agate nodules that are very common out here. I'm not sure what I'll do with these. I may cut them. I may tumble them. I've got a bunch of them, that's for sure. Lots of ammunition for future videos. I'm having a blast just looking through these exposed areas within these weeds, finding lots of interesting rocks. I think that right there might be an agate, but the reason I'm filming now is to show you this one I just picked up. Look at this thing. Tell me this doesn't look like it's already been coarse grit tumbled to perfection. Wow, I guess this is a banded chert. I don't know if those colors are going to stick around once I get it polished, but boy, if they do, this will be an amazing polished rock very soon. It turned out to be a great day down here. I'm so glad I'm not in Central Texas where it's freezing. Check this out, right there. Ooh, doesn't that look good? I'm guessing that's an agate. Let's get it out. To use my hammer here. Left-handed. Well, can't tell much from that side, but oh, I'm pretty sure this is one of those Rio Grande agates right here. Such a beautiful day out here. I'm so glad I'm not in Central Texas. I'm also very glad that I found my first pizza agate. Look at this thing. Doesn't that look like a slice of pizza? And check out all the banding our pizza has. There and there. Wow, what a fun rock. This is what it would have looked like unbroken. Boy, you never would have imagined that inside that would be all of this. That means we have our work cut out for us if we're going to find any more of these in here. I'm being a good rock hound. I'm staying on the proper side of that fence right there. It's a good thing because over here there are lots of cool rocks. This one I found broken, and I want you to see this. You can tell there's some really interesting patterns in it, but what caught my eye was this side here. Look at that really pretty banding right there. Oh, that's gorgeous stuff, whatever it is. Jasp agate, maybe? It's kind of an odd piece, broken like this. I'll probably end up tumbling this one. I'm still in the same area, and check out what I just spotted right there. You can see the banding. Looks a little mossy. It's a good size. What is this thing? Ooh, you wouldn't know it from this side. See, it's a good thing it wasn't just laying there like that. I never would have spotted it. Fortunately, it was turned over like this, and it revealed the banding there, plus whatever this is. fun rock, to be sure. What to do with it? I have no idea, but I am going to take it home. The wind is picking up a bit. I hope that doesn't interfere with the audio too much. The rock that I just found, I decided to get it wet. Check out the banding on this thing. Holy moly! That is superb banding. Such an odd rock, but yet amazing. That's just amazing. It's like a sea maggot, maybe. See how thin it is? I don't know. That was one side of it. Gosh, there could be so many more around here just like that. I'm just blown away with this one. I imagine I'll end up slabbing this one, making very narrow slabs and producing some beautiful cabochons with that banding. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming along. I'm sorry I didn't film more. It was a little windy and cold when I started, and then I just got lazy. You did get to see a couple of the rocks, though, get found, but you're going to be so impressed with all the other rocks that I found. What I'm going to do is get back home in a couple of days, get them cleaned up, and I'll complete this video showing you some of the amazing rocks that I found here. Just check out the bucket full that I got. It only took a couple of hours to find this many agate rocks. Most of these are, in fact, agates. Some of them might be duds, no doubt. There's some quartz in there as well, but for the most part, those are all agates. Rango, what do you think, buddy? Should we call it a day? You ready to call it a day, Rango? He's such a good little traveler. Yeah, we're gonna head back to the state park, get plugged in, get cleaned up, have a nice dinner, and tomorrow, Monday, head back. Hopefully the roads won't be too icy up in the Austin area. We'll see. This truck should be able to make it if they are. And then I'll get these cleaned up and I'll finish this video for you. It's the next day and I'm happy to report I made it safely back to Austin. What you see before you is just a sampling of the amazing rocks that I found down there along the shoreline of Falcon Lake. What I'll do is I'll show you these. I'll show you them wet so you can see some of the amazing details. I think you're going to be really impressed. This is a good example of one of those banded agate nodules that are very common down there along the Rio Grande River. You can see it's very agate, very translucent. And you can also see that it does have plenty of banding in it. I did pick up a bunch of these. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I'll probably include some of these in my Rock Off series. Others will no doubt get tumbled, and probably a couple of them will get cut and polished. I found a couple of interesting rocks that I brought home just to slab and cab. This is one. Look at the pattern in this. At first I thought it was some kind of jasper, and it might be, but is it I don't know, an orbicular jasper? You see those little circular areas, those little orbs within this? Oh, I think if this cuts well, and then if I can shape and shine it, it could be really special. There were lots of rocks that I picked up exclusively for rock tumbling. Here is an example of one. Look at this beauty. Isn't this fun looking? Imagine this one all smooth and shiny with those colors, those patterns. I guess it's a breccia of some type. I imagine this will be turned into a how well will it tumble video. To me, this looks more like a traditional agate nodule. You see here where it has a little bit of, well, banding, but also some quartz. Yeah, that's kind of fun. I like this side over here. You see more of that pattern right there with the quartz and the banding. It's very translucent, sort of like a Montana agate, I guess, in that sense. Not sure what I'll do with this one. Maybe I'll cut and polish it. We'll see. You saw this one in the video. It's the one that was kind of oddly shaped, but had some really pretty stuff in it. Now we can take a closer look. This is from the broken edge. Look at all of the beautiful agate details in there. But as you recall, what caught my eye was this banded area right here. I think that's really pretty. Not super banded, I know, but banded enough to really stand out. And then notice it here, the patterns in there. I guess I'll call this a jasp agate. And I think I will end up tumbling this. This will probably also turn into another one of those how well will it tumble videos. Not all of the agate nodules were lighter in color. Here's a darker one. I know it's kind of small, but when you look at it closely, you can see that it still has lots to offer. Well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. It's kind of small. Although this may be a good one for the Rock-Off series. I do have different sizes that I compete against each other, and this could go in the container filled with the smaller agates. I picked up a couple of rocks just because I thought they were really interesting. Here's one. Now you look at this face and think, that doesn't look very interesting, and you're right. But check out this face here. You see all of those fine lines in there? Is that agate banding? What is that? It's on this face and it's on this face. This rock caught my eye. I thought, I've got to get that thing home and do something with it. What explains those lines? Well, regardless, this will probably also turn into a how well will it tumble video. I picked up these two pieces of quartz for two reasons. Reason number one, they have both been very nicely tumbled by Mother Nature herself. And the number two reason, well, this one is a pink quartz. Look at that. And this one is a white quartz. I just think those are very pretty. I'll probably include these in a rock tumbling video that I will make, just featuring lots of these rocks that I picked up. This is a fun agate nodule right here. It's obviously very translucent, very bumpy on this side, but that's not really what caught my eye. It was this side, which, as you can see, is very quartzy, and it has banding right along the edge. You see that in there? Yeah, I find that interesting. So very quartzy on this side with some fine banding, and very lumpy on this side. Although this one has a couple of fractures in it, I believe it will be a stunning tumbled rock one day. If you look at it closely, you can see that it is an agate. Look at the colors in there. It does have these fractures there and there, but given enough time in the coarse grit, I think I can make this one really smooth, and once it's polished, oh, your jaw will drop. Just you wait and see. Okay, check this out. This might be the most unusual agate nodule that I've found. It looks a lot like the other ones, but notice this material here, and you see it here as well. You know what that is? If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's a hematite. Yeah, it's got that metallic glint to it. Big chunks of it on there. Very unusual. A little bit there. So once this one gets tumbled, which is what I'm going to do with it, that should really take on a beautiful shine, along with the rest of the agatiness in this little nodule. A couple of the rocks I picked up with the sole intention of slabbing. Here's one of them. Notice it has these really cool looking veins, which appear to have quartz and maybe some chalcedony. Yeah? You see it there? Will this make good looking slabs? I hope so. I'm not sure what this base material is right here. Is it just a chert? May very well be. Look for this one in an upcoming slabbing video. I'm sure we'll get a bunch of slabs off of it. Quite a few of the rocks I found were already broken and contained this coating of muck. I can take a scribe and pick that off if I really want to, but I'm not going to in this case, because on this broken face, I can see all that I need to see to know this is a beautiful rock. You see the mossiness? You got the red and the orange. There you go, you can see it there. This is a pretty agate rock right here. Pretty, agate. I think we can get some slabs off of this and make some beautiful cabochons. I showed you a light agate nodule and a dark agate nodule. Check this out. This is a, well, I want to call it a pink agate nodule. It has a pink tone to it. I don't know if it's coming through very well on this camera, but in normal light, it looks pink. Now that I'm looking at it on my phone screen, I'm doubting myself. It doesn't look very pink, does it? Trust me, it's pink-ish. You saw this one in the video. It's that amazingly smooth banded rock. I don't know if it's chert. I called it banded chert, but it's probably something else. Maybe a banded rhyolite? I don't know. I do know that it's beautiful. It's not quite a flawless tumble yet, Mother Nature. You should have left it in there a little bit longer. But I think after just maybe 2 weeks in the course grid, I can make this thing flawless, get rid of that little flaw there, and there was another one over here. And then hopefully whatever this is, we'll take a beautiful polish. This will definitely be a stunner. So check this out. There were a lot of agate rocks out there that looked like this one. I call them the Rio Grande River agates. They're very milky, but they also have other stuff in them. The reason I'm showing you this one is because I decided to break an edge off of this one to see what I could see on the inside. Now notice there, it looks a little wavy. Yeah, you see that? Very milky here. Check out the broken edge. Now you can see that banding right there, and of course the milkiness right there. So this broken face really captures a lot of what this agate rock has to offer. When I showed you the bucket, I mentioned that there are probably going to be some duds in there as well, and well, turns out I found at least this one for sure as I was going through these rocks. When I picked this up, I thought, oh, that's an agate nodule. Unfortunately, I did not look at it closely enough. Had I would have noticed that it has that solid area in there that looks kind of brown. There, you can see it right there. That, my friends, is a dud. This is a shell of nothing particularly interesting and the center of just muck. There are a lot of rocks like this out there, and you have to be careful. They can look really interesting, right? You see the shape, you see what appears to be interesting designs on it. But trust me, if you cut into this thing, it's just junk. This is some sort of crusty shell, and then the middle is just whatever. So I blew it on this one. Thankfully, I more than made up for it with this gorgeous agate right here. Look at this thing. This is one of those Rio Grande River agates. Notice the details in there. Wow. Now you see some of those little white bits on there. A lot of that will come right off after just a few days in the course grid. This one will end up being tumbled. It is going to be an absolute beauty when I'm finished with it. I'll get it smooth, which won't take too long, and I'll put one of those brilliant polishes on it, which will bring out all of the details. You see all the banding there? Oh, these are so much fun to tumble and polish. I believe I showed you this nodule in the video. It was early on when I actually spotted two of them near each other. This was one of those two. I wanted you to get to see it up close one more time because these truly are beautiful. You can see all the banding in there. This one looks like it has some quartz in it as well, maybe. Gorgeous rock. Don't know what I'm gonna do with this one. This might be a good contestant in the Rock-Off series. Get this cut in half and see if it can take on another rock. I think it would have a good chance at winning because normally these are really interesting on the inside. I'm pretty sure I picked up this little guy just for tumbling, and now that I take a closer look at it, I'm really happy that I did. This is a gorgeous little mossy agate right here. Look at the details in it. Check that out. That's really pretty. It's a great shape. It's a little small, but thankfully it won't need to grind too much to get smooth the way I like it. And then once this is shiny, watch out. Another stunner, to be sure. I like this nodule here because it has this fun sort of quartzy area right here. You see the quartz right there in that pocket. And then along the outside, we've got a little bit of banding, yeah. Some other fun, agate bits of artwork on here. Look at that, yeah. Very strange shape. Don't know what I'll do with this one. I probably could carefully tumble this one and then put a nice polish on it. What do you think? Although this one is small, it has a lot to offer. We have some color on this side. And then check out the banding on this side. That's pretty. I like that. So we got some darkness there, some redness and yellowness, along with some whiteness. Just FYI, I was able to pick up a couple of pieces of petrified wood. This small one here happens to be petrified palm wood. That's right, petrified palm wood. Not a very big piece. I did pick up a couple of other pieces of petrified wood which were bigger, but they weren't palm wood. Look for this one in an upcoming How Well Will It Tumble video. Why? Check it out. This is some sort of moss agate. Looks like red and white. Maybe some other colors. Oh, sure, look at that. It's a great shape and it's in pretty good condition. So after just a couple of weeks in the coarse grit, it should be smooth enough to become a beautiful polished stone. I wanted you to see this small one here, just to take in all of the details. This is just one of those small agate rocks, and there are a bunch of them out there. Heck, I must have found dozens of these. They're small though. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. I'll probably cut it in half. I'm planning on making a video where I take small rocks like this and I cut them in half just to see what's on the inside. So this one has maybe a date with a saw in the not too distant future. To my eye, this one's really interesting. It's small, but it has a lot to offer. You see, we've got the quartz right there. Got some waviness in there. Beautiful amber color. Look at that there, very pretty. I do like the waviness in this one. Probably also destined for the saw. You want to talk about an agate with some crazy designs in it, you got to check this one out. Doesn't look like much from this view. Not even from this view. But from this view, oh man, I just love these swirls in there, that pattern. That is fun looking, whatever it is. Beautiful rock. Am I seeing, is that like a citrine quartz right down in there? It's hard to tell. Looks sort of like a harmonica, doesn't it? We'll call this harmonica agate. After seeing the harmonica agate, well, what next, of course, but the pizza agate. You remember this one from the video? Looks like a nice slice of pie. What kind of pizza would this be? Is that like a meat topping there? Not a pepperoni. I don't know, maybe a vegetable of some type. So this was an interesting find. Here on the top, you can see lots of quartz. You see that big quartz vein running through it right there. But you also see some banding. I think this is really a gorgeous rock. And as I pointed out in the field, this is the outside of the rock. There are so many rocks out there that look like this, many of which will have this on the inside. You just have to get lucky and find them, or do what I do, take a hammer to them. Lots of quartz. This looks like it is destined to be face polished along there and along there. What do you think? I think that's the most obvious solution for this rock. We're getting near the finish now. I wanted to show you this one here, which looks to me like a very typical agate, typical from many different parts of the world, not just the South Texas area. It has sort of that eyeball look right there. You see that? The banding. Shoot, it almost looks like it has eyelashes. They're inverted, but you see what I'm talking about. Appears to have had a quartzy feature right there, which is just about gone. Will this have anything interesting on the inside? I imagine I'll have to do a cut video on this one, either cut and tumble, maybe the rock off, maybe cut and polish. We'll see. There's an interesting story behind this agate. I got it on Saturday, my first day at the park. I checked into the state park and I went for a hike, and I got to an area that I thought was no longer part of the state park. I was in the Falcon Lake dry lake bed itself. You see, Falcon Lake is way, way down from where it used to be. So the state park boundary was, gosh, a couple hundred yards from where I was. And I was just in the dry bed looking for rocks. And I found this one. I was very excited because it's obviously some kind of agate. You can see down in there, there's something going on. Well, unfortunately, that was still considered state park property. I learned all that when a park police officer stopped me and basically went through my bag. He was concerned that I was trying to find arrowheads and Indian artifacts, which of course I assured him that was not my interest at all. Once he saw that I just had picked up a couple of rocks like this, he was quite nice, actually, and he explained to me how the land that I was on is now controlled by the state park so that people at the state park can have access to the water. It's actually federal land down there, but the feds let the state park manage it, and because it's managed by the state park, all the same rules apply, and you cannot take rocks from a state park, which of course I understand and abide by. So he let me keep this one, and in fact, he suggested an area where I could go and safely find rocks, which I did. Having said all that, will this one be interesting on the inside? I sure hope so. Just 3 more to go. This little one here is very interesting to me. It's dark, but it has some beautiful color right there and right there. Isn't that pretty? This will be part of that series I was talking about where I take tiny rocks like this and I cut them open to see what's on the inside. I just had to show you one more of these Rio Grande River agates. This is one that has some beautiful milkiness on this side, some great patterns. And then check out this side here. Tell me that's not going to be beautiful on the inside as well. You see all those patterns in that? That's what you look for when you're out there rock hounding along the Rio Grande River. Now be honest, you knew I was going to end on this one. This is that crazy seam agate that I found. I guess we can call it a banded seam agate. This was the side that thankfully wasn't face up because I never would have spotted it. I spotted it because I could see some banding. I don't know what this stuff is up here. What I do know is it just has a bunch of this outstanding and colorful banding that goes all the way around. You see that in there? Even though it's covered with some muck right there, you can still see it. This is an outstanding rock. I'm so glad that I found it. Look at that right in there. So I'll no doubt get this on the slab saw and make a bunch of very long and narrow slabs, turning those into cabs, I imagine. Wow, colorful, tight banding. Can't ask for anything more than that. Thank you so much for helping me escape this cold weather that just struck the U.S. and allowing me to find some beautiful rocks for us. I think we found some good ones. And this is just a small percent of all the rocks that I found. Believe me, I've got a bunch of these nodules now that I can play with back in the shop. Look forward to seeing all these again. I'm sure I will find a use for all of them, whether that be tumbling, cutting and polishing, slabbing and capping, something fun like that. Well, once again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you like videos like this, check my playlist. I've got lots more of these rock hounding videos for you to enjoy.